All right, problem 788. A loan agreement between the student council and the PTA has finally been reached, but the PTA will not loan the full $1,825 requested. To make sure everyone understands the agreement, the PTA created the table below. A, based on this table, how much will the student council borrow? What is the percent interest? All right, so for this part A, we need to figure out, based on the table, how much will they borrow and what is the percent interest. So right away, I see after 0 weeks, what I'm looking at here is this column right here. And I see after 0 weeks, the total loan amount is $1,250, which tells me that the $1,250 is the amount that they borrowed or their principal. So we will say they borrow $1,250. All right, and now for the other part of this question, we need to figure out what was that percentage rate, or, what are they being charged per week for this interest? So what I would do is I would have a look now at the second row down, which shows us 1 week, how much the total loan amount is. So to kind of work backwards through this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the amount that's owed after 1 week. So that is 1,268. So that's the total amount owed after 1 week and 75 cents. And I'm going to subtract what was owed in the week prior, which was after 0 weeks, which is $1,250. So I'm going to subtract the two, and when I do that, I should end up getting $18.75. Now, $18.75 is where they come up with what is being added each week. So that's how we got from 1,250 to 1,268. And from 1,268, we added another $18.75, which got us to that 1,287. So now what we need to do, now $18.75 is not our rate. What we can do is we can do 18. Oh, I don't think I gave myself enough room. What we could do is $18.75 divided by 1,250. And when we do that, what you should get is 0.015 as a decimal. So this is what you'll get. And if we multiply that by 100 to get our percent, that is going to be 1.5% is the percent of interest, or the rate. All right, part B, how much will the student council owe after 3 weeks? After 4 weeks, show your calculation. So B, what I'm going to do is I copied the table. I didn't think I could fit it into the one that was there, so I made my own copy here. So we noted earlier that as the weeks go on, $18.75 is being added each week. And we can see that over here, our total is also increasing by $18.75. So let's see, if I look at my week 1, I'm adding one $18.75. In my week 2, I'm adding two $18.75. So in my week 3, if you guessed that we're adding 3 groups of $18.75, you are correct. So there's our principal. We're going to add $18.75 for that first week, for the second week, and now we're going to add it for the third week as well. And you'll notice, hey, there is that, we're adding from week 2 to week 3, we added that third group of $18.75. Now, if we add that on to our previous week's balance right here, what we should get is $1,306.25. Uh-oh. All right, and for 4 weeks, if you guessed that we're going to be adding $18.75 4 times, you were correct. So here's for my week 1, my week 2, my week 3, because remember, each week they're accumulating $18.75 to that loan. And then here is my $18.75 that we added on from the previous to show that our new total is $1,325. That looks like a 3. All right, there we go, $1,325. Now, we showed everything in the table, so if you want to do it my way, which I would recommend, it really doesn't take that long to copy down the table. You could just put 4B, you could say C table. All right, and that's all. And we showed, it tells us to also, show, how it's increasing each week and show our calculation. So we've got that calculation row in the table, and by highlighting each group of $18.75 that we added on to the previous week, that shows how it's growing each week. All right, part C, how is the amount of money that the student council owes changing each week? Show how this can be found in your table. Well, we kind of already did show that in the table, so that's where we're highlighting that group of $18.75 that's being added each week. So we can say, for this one, see highlights and table. And you could also say, $18.75 is being charged in simple interest each week. All right, on to part D. Gosh. All right, part D. The student council president wants to be able to check quickly how much the student council owes at any point. Use your table to write a variable expression that shows the amount of money the club owes the PTA after any number of weeks. Make sure to define your variable. So what I would do for this problem is, so we want to know how much they would owe after any number of weeks. So after 0 weeks, after 1 week, after 20 weeks, after 11 weeks, 3 weeks, however many weeks. So we need to use a variable. I'm going to use x, and I'm going to let x represent the number of weeks. All right, and then for an equation, let's see. Actually, an expression. So we're not writing an equation yet. We're writing an expression. So my expression then would be, I've got to have that principal in there. So that's that $1,250. So we know that x represents the number of weeks. And as each week passes, $18.75 is added to that total in simple interest. So we're going to account for that amount, $18.75, after how many weeks? Well, any number of weeks. So that's where that x comes in. So this is the expression we would want for part D. Okay, part E. The president figured out that if the student council does not pay off the loan by the end of the school year, it would owe $1,500. How many weeks of school are left? Use your expression from part D to write and solve an equation to answer this question. Okay, so we are using that expression that we came up with from part D here. And what we're going to do is take that expression, so that $12.50 or $1,250 plus $18.75 times x, we're going to set it equal to $1,500. So the reason we're setting it equal to that is because that's the point, that's the amount that's going to be charged, if they do not pay by the end of the school year. So now we've got our equation, so we can go ahead and solve. So what I'll do first is subtract 1,250 from this side. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now on the left, I'm left with $18.75 times x equals 1,500 minus 1,250 gives me 250. To get x by itself, I'm going to divide by 18.75. And to keep the equation balanced, I have to do that on the other side as well. All right, so I'm left with x on the left, and then equals 250 divided by $18.75 is going to give me 13. It's going to be 13.3 repeating, or 13 1/3 weeks. Okay, and that's all for problem 788.